It was heartbreak in Brisbane as the Hawks' top four hopes hit a snag with some brilliant run at stages, good energy and pressure. The Hawks eventually fell short by 10 points to the reigning premier. And despite some injuries, they put up a good fight. We encountered a lot of inaccuracy and kept us in the game. But in the end, Lions just a little bit too good. Lies even down to the dying minutes. I thought we were a bit of a chance. Be good to chat with you and the fans tonight. How did you find it tonight?
Yeah, it was an interesting one. Didn't really feel like we had like our best footy going really at any major points. We had some passages that were good, but couldn't really put it together for a full 4 quarters, or at least a full quarter in itself. We let them get the momentum in a lot of different points that were costly. And even in the first quarter when we were up by a goal or two, they should have been at least 3 or 4 goals up with the way they were kicking. So, yeah, they just got beaten by a better side. They have a lot of stars, and we have a lot of great B-grade players, but we don't have those, A-tier players who can come in and really change the game for us. Unfortunately, well, especially with the likes of Day and Weddle out. So, yeah, it wasn't our day in the end. A few umpiring calls that weren't helpful at all.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a little frustrating, but, it is what it is. You're still in finals, and that's the main point, is that we're here and, we can do what we want from here if we want to do it.
That's it. Well, we're here to field all your questions, get the reaction straight after the game with you tonight. So drop your thoughts and comments in as we go. I think there was just waves throughout the whole game. Dylan Moore held well early on. I think came into the game nicely. I was just blown away by Hardwick. Like first half, Scrimshaw, they had a cracking first half. Dimmer continued the whole game. Amon came right into it, and geez, nearly 1,000 metres gain. It was a phenomenal effort by him to try and keep us in it. It looked a little. I know it wasn't wet. Yeah, there we go. Jeb's on it too. It was 17 degrees. I think in Brisbane it can get a little bit dewy, but I think they mentioned it wasn't too bad. But as the game went on, maybe it was a little bit of the perceived pressure and footsteps. People hearing that at times, putting them off. But the first half seemed a little bit cleaner. Second half, maybe fatigue. Don't know.
Yeah, I think something about that ground that we haven't really played on. I mean, a few of those guys, it would have been their first time. And, yeah, they mentioned in the broadcast that we hadn't played there since 2019. So, yeah, it's just a little bit dewy up there, even in winter time. So, yeah, they were just fumbly. We were just fumbly, sorry. And they were just able to pick up a lot of those loose balls and be cleaner than us, which, normally we're a reasonably clean side. Like we can pick up those loose balls, but just couldn't get it going today. And yeah, a few just big errors unfortunately from a few players that are at the bottom end of our list that really stood out. I'm thinking of CJ taking the player on inside 50 and them going straight back up and kicking a goal, things like that, where it's just like you can do a lot of great things, but it's hard to come back from mistakes like that in a game.
Yeah, game of moments, and I think CJ did well. We'll perhaps come to that, but like Guinea, the goal before the siren, that clutch goal, again it was the 4th, I believe, did very well just to give us a fighting chance and put out the Superman, celebration there. I don't know what happened. The runner, perhaps not getting the message out to CMAC. What happened there? It's like, how do we not get that message through when really, if it wasn't Guinea having that little scuffle, the siren would have gone. CMAC would have known and had to go back for a shot, and then painfully, Amon kicks the goal after the handball and the siren had gone off. So we didn't quite get to register that one going into the 4th.
Yeah, I'm sure whoever's fault that was will get a stern talking to this week, because that is, the under 16s mistake where the runner can't get out and tell them how long is left in a quarter. But yeah, that was a big mistake. I mean, I don't think C-Mac really would have kicked it. It was far too far out for him. But yeah, I think I think that's a big mistake, and just one of the few little things, the 1%ers that you get wrong that can cost you, games like this.
Yep. There we go. We might be having some technical issues going on with YouTube. Not sure. We'd normally see a flurry of comments from those on YouTube.
Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working, but feel free to get on Facebook if you want to come and have a chat with us, or Twitter, I think you can, or X, sorry, as well. But yeah, anyways, I think, it was one of those games where there was just a lot of things didn't go our way, and it was partly because of us, and it was partly because of the pressure that the Lions brought. And we've done this multiple times a year where where a team comes in and we beat them in the first quarter, and then we just fall off, especially our pressure in that second and third quarter. They kept bringing up the pressure ratings, and that was way down in the 130s, 140s, when normally if we're playing well it's 190 plus. So yeah, thought that was interesting how we weren't bringing the pressure at those points, because you think they would, but the Lions really run us off our legs. They just kicked the ball around at the back, but and just made us chase them all day, and we were pretty tired, I think, by the end.
Yeah, first quarter, we took them by surprise, I think, at the first half of the first quarter, I think, and our speed to move the ball. And after all their points, and we had some, end-to-end football from us, very classy, they didn't know what was going on. And then when they started to cotton on, they were sort of the rebound, the speed with which they were rebounding was really hurting. So it was, their inaccuracy kept us in it. But I think both teams, it was really good spirited fight, like the whole game. There was just, as I said, moments, I think, where really good, hard contest, both teams, high contested ball. I don't know, some of the long kicking at times. They covered us well. Our spacing was good. I liked the setup at times, and it worked. Other times, it was like we kicked right in the middle of the space, right to the Brisbane player, and it was just like, oh, come on, guys. That's a communication thing.
Yeah, the main thing for me, which I've noticed really all year, is especially interesting because at the start of the year it wasn't like this, but we always, from kick in, we always run out, fake right and head left, and bomb it to 90% of the time, bomb it long to the pack that forms under the ball there. And I question why that isn't changed up, especially in a game like today where they kicked so many behinds and we had so many different chances to, switch it up, do something different. But we were just so predictable. And for a team as smart as Brisbane, it was obvious what they needed to do.
Yeah. I think they got some matchups really right, Brisbane, to their credit. And, I think we held some of the players at times. At the beginning, Lohman got up to the hook. You had Charlie Cameron fairly well held. He came into it a little bit later on. He was flopping left, right, and center. I thought it was a jelly. He was flopping around that much at the start. But, we've got a few comments here, so I'll do a little bit of the rounds here. We've got the reactions going on. So what have we got? Nigel, it hurts seeing that. And what do you think here, Loz? We've seen it as a bit of a trend through the season where we're not necessarily getting the centre clearance, but we can sometimes get possession. We allow them but when they get possession, we put the pressure on well sometimes and then take it from there. Or sometimes we set up just from the rebound 50.
Yeah. the midfield's a big issue, and it has been, and they know that, and there's nothing really they can do about it right now. We just don't have the higher caliber players to go in there. The only thing is if Newcombe can somehow, lift his game back to the level it was at the end of last year, but he seems to just be, just not getting involved as much as he was. But unfortunately, we just don't have, the players that can run through there and make a difference. I mean, Warple can get the ball, but we can't get it off his boot. He kicks it and it goes straight to them. Same, pretty similar to Nash. I thought Ward did decently tonight, did a few nice things. Newcombe played pretty well, but it's just really hard. And I thought Meek got touched up a bit in the ruck, which is interesting because Darcy Ford, obviously premiership ruckman from last year, but still, not considered anywhere near that A-grade type of ruck. But the midfield is a big issue, and as I mentioned, not heaps we can do about it now. We're missing players. We're missing A-tier quality players, and days out, and we can't get anyone in the trade period till the end of the year. So
here's the stoppages for the game: 43 hitouts in their favour to 39, 42 to 34 clearances, and so the centre clearances was actually almost split 12 to 11 with the Lions in favour there, but stoppage clearances 30 to 23. So that's around the ground was where we weren't quite working, but it just hurts when it's that centre clearance and they do kick on. Warple had, I think at halftime, I had a quick look at his stats because there was little things that he was doing that I thought was handy. Sometimes just putting a body on. He had 4 inside 50s, 2 scoring involvements, 3 contested possessions, 2 clearances, 2 tackles, but he was going at 40% disposal efficiency. And he had 255 metres at the time, but 4 turnovers. That's the physicality and giving a little bit of space and whatnot, shirking the tackles, when someone thinks they've got him and he just flips them off. Yes, all right, A, B grade, sure. It's not quite the Warple that we saw when he's winning the PCM, but I still see some things that he does, but that we just got to clean up that disposal efficiency. It really hurts.
Yeah, that was a big thing. I think our efficiency tonight wasn't amazing. I mean, our disposal efficiency was 70%, which is 2% below our average, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is in the game. And I mean, it was a hot contest. Brisbane really brought the pressure, so it makes sense in a way, but just not what we needed in a game like this. Even Amon, who was probably our best on ground and did some great things, there was a few kicks he did that just went straight to the opposition. They were just able to read our kicks better than we were able to.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Jai was. I think Jai was the best midfielder by a fair way. I think Ward played into it really nicely as the game went on, and smart. I noticed earlier the pace of the game. It was just some of the experienced players that were just letting, just almost they'd stop and stand upright and let everyone run past them with just a little shimmy, little something, just to give themselves space. That sort of manic running, and then I don't know. As the game went on, both teams, it became more gritty. The game, I reckon. It's let's keep doing the rounds. What do we got? Feel any mark?
I mean, if we somehow pulled off the win, there'd be chat about how we probably didn't necessarily deserve it unless we did something amazing, because really we didn't have enough of the play, even during the first quarter where we looked like we were really on top of them. We didn't stop their main game, which was uncontested marking, and I'm shocked that we didn't really look to try and stop that until the last quarter. So that was something, we just guarding space, and in the last quarter we went to man on man, and it obviously helped at some points when we kicked a couple in a row there. So I'm not sure why that was the go for the start of the game, just to let them chip it around the back, because they were able to get the handball into the corridor and just stream forward. But
how many times the corridor? Like we okay, at times you can't help it because it's a quick turnover, but they used it very well, didn't they? At times.
They used it well. I mean, Darcy Wilmot, he's a young kid who's been really good since he's come to debut, and CMAC had the job on him, not defensively, but was matched up on him, and he just absolutely destroyed him. Like, I don't think I've seen C-Mac. Like, C-Mac has been having an average year, an average back end of the season, really. And that was just one of the worst games I've seen him play, unfortunately, for C-Mac. Just so many missed tackles, missed timing of the ball, fumbly, and yeah, his direct opponent really hurt us from halfback.
Yeah, I touch and go. He gives us run. Just it's that finals brand of footy tonight. It was. It's you've got to be able to stand up in those tackles and just sort of. Yeah, at times I'm like, does he need a few more kilos on him? But you lose a little bit of speed from him. I don't know. It was just maybe that little bit more pressure and a little less time to think and make a decision. He got that little toe poke forward to Bruce, and then Bruce turned around on the corner to. I thought he was going to snap it. Would have been pretty reliable. But yeah. I'll give more. I'll give the vice captain a goal and get him up. So liked it.
Maybe we can have a chat about the tall setup. We saw Mitch Lewis subbed off and Brucey subbed on, which I thought he did, obviously did one or two nice things there, Brucey, not expecting heaps from him as a sub. But yeah, it was probably a night where early it didn't really work for us, this tall forward setup. Thought Gunston and Chol, obviously both quiet nights in a sense. Obviously Gunston did a few good things.
Come on.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to say. Chol was the one who, so they only had really 3 tall defenders. So when we had the 4 down there, when we had, 3 down there, there was one that was able to get let loose, which worked for Cholly early. And then, but after that, Mitch Lewis, almost statless, I believe it was really, until he got that free kick and kicked the goal. And he's a good kick, which he's got going for him. But besides that, I'm not sure he's offering enough to be kept at the level. And, we've got the week off now, which is interesting. Can I
Lewis in particular, we talked just before we jumped on. There was another, he was leading up. It was an inside 50. I think it bounced off his chest. He should have taken our hands out. He's got good mitts. Like at times it's just maybe, I don't know. When he didn't get that, I think the whiz kicked it to him, and then he tried to crumb, and he was like good on the whiz, right spot. Whiz had Miss Guinea, who was in the middle, would have been sort of right in front, around the 50-meter mark had he gone that option. I like that he followed it regardless, but Lewis, we definitely need a bit more than finals. This big 4, it's probably the time for the experiment to end. I would say because Chol shone so well. Sorry, I'll take that back. I don't think the experiment will end. It's about matchups, but I don't know. We can talk about it. It's GWS or Freo, but
probably going to be GWS. Yeah,
I think Chol shining so well at the start probably led to them making some defensive changes in the back end, and that it took us too long to get out of that because it was Dan earlier. Long bombs. I think at the start we were moving the ball that fast. We did have some nice inside 50s, and Chol was on the receiving end, some good marks and whatnot. We probably went to more of this later on because they cramped our style of that, inside 50. We just perhaps weren't getting as much space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think someone said here, if we played GWS, we might have to play the 4 talls. It's an interesting question. Last time we played GWS, we only played them once, right? And that was the windy game down at Tassie where they kicked, 40 points at us in the first quarter and we came back and won. We weren't obviously playing the 4 talls then. I don't know if we need Gunston, we need Chol, and I think we need Deer. I don't think Lewis is required, especially if we get there's the talks of Weddle playing, if he's got the scan tomorrow, if that's kind of all clear, there's talks of Weddle trying to aim to play for Box Hill in their final next week. Yep. Now, if he gets through that, could he come on and play maybe as a sub or something for us if he needs to be on those managed minutes, I guess.
I think that would be pretty welcome from a lot of Hawthorn faithful. And
I think
go back.
Yeah, I think hopefully, we could make that kind of one change and shuffle the magnets a bit to bring Weddle in and Lewis out.
Yeah, it's going to give us potentially a forward marking option. If he's playing, he's good enough to, sky for things, in terms of marks and whatnot. He maybe they need to protect his body a little and play him a little bit differently to what we've known. But against GWS, so we won 76-64 in round 3 at UTAS. So a little bit different up in Sydney. We don't necessarily play their deck very well historically, but I like our chances. I don't feel like Giants are, are they a scary finals team right now? No, not for me. You were preferring GWS?
Yeah, for sure. I think
Freo?
Yeah, I think Freo has the same strengths in a way as Brisbane do in the midfield. They're very strong in there. And I don't think our midfield will be able to go with them if we play them. And we don't perform too well against Freo, let alone up at Optus Stadium. So, would really love to avoid that. So, backing in the Suns, even though it would be pretty funny if they lost to Essendon. But, would like them to get a win. I favour our chances a bit more against GWS. I think we match up actually decently well with them. But they... because they do have some good midfielders, but their midfielders are pretty similar to us. Tom Green is that kind of big dash and crash like Nash. Callahan's very talented. He went really well against us early until we put Finn McGuinness to him for a period. So he will be a challenge. Yeah, Josh Kelly is out at the moment, but I'm just been looking at their injuries. Supposedly back in 2 weeks. Stringer back in 2 weeks, so he's one that probably could be sub for them. And they got I don't know if they got both Jack. I think Jack Buckley came back, but Brent Daniels, who's a very good small forward, or half forward, does what Moore does, but Nelly even better. Yeah, he's one that might come in as well as Jesse Hogan, who's a TBC. Whether that means he could be back into in our game in a couple of weeks, or whether he might miss. But it'll be an interesting one, I think, that matchup. And hopefully, I think, 90% it falls to GWS, I would think.
Yeah. Well, look, keen on, if we think that mismatch in height is going to give it to us, I think they're working out how to move around each other. That's sort of where we took this conversation from. To your point, Loz, I think I'll be fascinated. If Lewis gets the nod again, I'll be a little bit surprised. But if that's where we think we're going to get the advantage, happy days. Gunson was pretty well held tonight. And look, we've seen his superpowers. Perhaps I think it was just a really solid back half, defensive effort by the Lions. So they really tightened it up after the beginning of the first quarter. So and that was just a grudge match. So we're just sneaking a few goals here and there. I think their midfielder, like goal contributions, that's what hurts us against the Brisbane Lions. I think there was one kick I saw. Who did it go to? They kicked inside their forward 50, and it was like our mids were just watching theirs ready to burst forward and burst through. And just it was a chest mark. I can't remember who it was. Just jumped up, took it. It was in maybe second quarter, and ended up having shot on goal. It was Dunkley, I think. And
Dunkley had a great game.
Yeah, he did. But I think that's where Brisbane are very, very threatening. They will kick a lot of goals through their midfielders, and we were perhaps paying too much attention there. An example, I think, are we trying to be too offensive at that point? I think we're trying to be, aggressive. So I don't know. It's interesting.
I think their mids are very fit as well. Like McCluggey just had a great year. He'll certainly be All-Australian, and he just was able to run our mids off their legs and find space. Like he had so many shots on goal for a midfielder because he was just able to run into the big gaps that were left in our back line. So we've got a lot of issues, and I don't think I'm speaking on a turn here where I said it's probably not our year. With the injuries to Daisy And if Weddle doesn't come back, it would be very hard to come from probably 7th or 8th, wherever we finish, and get into the grand final. So yeah, we've got a lot of things to work on for next season. Not that I'm already, looking towards there. This season's not over yet, but
come on, Loz.
no, I think we have a decent chance against GWS, but just I don't think we can go all the way this year. But you get fit, you get Will Day fit, you come out next year and recruit someone like Petrarca. I know people are kind of 50-50 on someone like him. I think it's to a point where we have to take the risk on someone like him. Even Sam Flanders, Walsh, are those guys, because the rumours around the West Coast Eagle fans is that Reid is going to sign for at least another 1 or 2 years there. And Butters confirmed the other day now, obviously he can go back on his word, but was pretty confident saying, I will be here next year. So those two guys that could be really beneficial for us, I believe won't be coming our way this season. But yeah, so you've got to take a punt because we're in the window and we can't waste this opportunity.
Yeah. It's comments here on the mids. Yeah, absolutely, Chris. We do need others. Well, a little bit more help. Troy, agree with Nuke, and Dunkley sitting on him. I don't know who else might have been the matchup at different stages, but I did see on another Hawthorn group, maybe it was Let's Talk Hawthorn, that someone might have had a quick chat to Warps. Asked him over the boundary, are you playing next season? He said, yeah, I think so. I was like, what's the emphasis of it was written. Yes, I think so. Yes,
Let's just say if we get Warple to sign, I don't think there'll be a NAS type of celebration for that re-signing there for Warps. He's done a lot of service to this club, but I just don't think he's the right fit for us really at the moment. And if he needs to go, and I don't want to pay him 800 plus for 4 or 5 years, in my opinion, he's just not worth that. And if Geelong will do it or St Kilda will do it, I know Melbourne were also kind of thrown in there as someone that might do it. Let him go. I think that's fair for Warpy. But got this comment, if you think Warple's kicking is bad, Trackers is just as bad. I agree. Trackers has had a shocking year disposal efficiency wise, but what Track can bring is a goal kicking forward. We don't have one. We simply do not have one at the moment. Warple's not that guy. Newcomb's not that guy. Newcomb's done it a couple of times. Daisy's done it a couple of times, but even him can't really hit the scoreboard as much as we'd like. So
we lost by 10 points. If Newcomb hits 3 goals out of 3 shots instead of 3 points, we win the game.
Yeah. So
I love that he's having a crack, but yeah, geez.
Yeah, no, exactly. You want him to have that. You want him to have a go. Like, he nearly kicked goal of the year. I can't believe he missed that. I think he just had too long there, like thought about it for way too long and was like, oh, I've just done something really awesome. I need to kick this goal, and then just, faded away at the end. But I don't mind Track as a pick. He's strong. He's had an off year. I don't know how much he's, sounds like the talk from the media is maybe he's not loving it at Melbourne. If he comes to a club where he feels a bit more included, can he turn that around? I think, the kicking part of it, he's always been reasonably average, but this year is particularly bad. So it could be just the off year, but we've got to go for someone.
Is it leadership as well? What else do you get? He's a strong body in there. So, I mean, if Warple's out, and there's another strong body replacement,
Yeah, it's a good point. I think we might not really have that kind of leader in the midfield. I think Newcomb could develop into one, but I don't really think. I think Warple kind of is that leader in there at the moment, in terms of telling everyone where to go. But based on watching the games, but we don't really have that hard head. We do up forward of the ball in Gunston and behind the ball. We've got plenty behind the ball. So we'd love that hard head leader in the midfield that can take the game on his own boot and try and win it for himself.
Yeah. Kane Corns did say, I was watching Channel 7 initially and split, but he did say at the start he observed some of the Hawks training and they were very much practicing their spacing, knowing that Brisbane do move the ball pretty well, and they were concentrating on the communication and the distancing between each other when they were trying to form their defensive setup. So I think in terms of midfielders, like today, did Brisbane or Hawks midfielders through the game, not just in the centre clearance, like who was the standout, like as far as were they breaking those lines? I would say Brisbane had it for mine around the ground. And by a bit, they've got a pretty stacked midfield, but they're the sorts of things. There's communication and leadership, but it's the setup. I think there's a team dynamic to it as well that is going to win us footy, finals footy anyway.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's one of those games where I just don't think. They had more class around the ground, more pace, kind of as you said there as well, and more maturity, I think, as well. We look to panic a little bit at times.
Sure.
Which you can expect. You can't be too harsh on that, but it's just one of those games where it kind of got the result that most of us, well, maybe if you were backing in that we might not get this game done, this is kind of the result you were expecting. It's unfortunate that we don't get the double chance, but still, playing any of Adelaide or Geelong, if we had have won, would have been an absolutely really difficult task as well. We get the double chance. Like, obviously, I feel like GWS would probably be, probably the easier matchup out of those three, but still, if you lose, you're out compared to if you lose, you've got another chance. So, they're definitely going to be feeling it. And I don't mind, that close kind of loss really puts a sour taste in their mouth and hopefully will be festering for the next, 2 weeks as they wait for, as they wait for the first final. Whereas GWS had, kind of a close game, but got over the top of them in the end. If they had lost that, maybe they would have been pretty angry too. But I think we'll be, red hot and firing, because our best footy is played when the pressure rating is through the roof, and it can't be like that for a whole game, but we need to bring it at crucial points, and we weren't able to do that tonight.
Yeah. A couple of quick questions. I think Jars was, again, really solid battle as well. Just excellent game. Some of those efforts, just even that one touch, that long kick, I think it was Sicily, they were peppering the goals in the first quarter. If Battle hadn't got from Sicily's kick out just a hand to it to keep it alive, we wouldn't have got a fast break goal. But there were so many little, almost, they're not measured as 1%ers, but they're just little things that Battle does so many little things right. Loving seeing that. I think scanning over the team here. I think, Amon, crazy third quarter. I think he had 16 possessions, they said, and 534 metres in the quarter. He's finished with nearly 1,000 metres gained. I think he's odd barrel. He does probably in the second half of the season. He's done a few more kicking out of bounds. He used to be just so reliable every single kick. I think we're just really looking for him to move that ball and long, which he can. So hopefully those boys continue firing. I did like CJ. I think, yes, maybe that spin will be remembered in this game. I think he was really attacking the ball well. I don't know what he finished up with in terms of tackles.
He got actually quite a few tackles, I believe, and clearances, which is interesting. He got 5 clearances, which is not normally his go, and 5 tackles. So led the team along with Nick Watson for tackles. There was points. There's points you can do all those team things. But it's really hard to come back from a mistake like that. And C-Mac had a couple like that where you just made a couple big mistakes that directly cost us a goal. And it's unfortunate, but those little things, those little like footy IQ things, which maybe he just doesn't, have the game awareness, someone like CJ yet to know what to do.
He was criticised in years gone by for his kicking. I know he worked really hard over in the off season. I think he got 2 really like lace out kicks inside 50, and he's got 4 inside 50s this game. So to his credit, he's pressuring, he's using that speed as best he can. The clearances is noticeable. So, yeah, 6 score involvements from CJ. So,
yeah, we've got
I think
this
playing his
comment,
role pretty well.
4 goal assists is actually, I know he got the one to Ginnivan later on where he ignored Gunston, which is, I thought was bad at the time, but it worked out.
Yep. I wasn't stealing your content there, Troy, I promise, but yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, there's obviously good things from CJ's game. Do I think he stays in the side while if Harry's fit? I don't know. That's a good question. I would prefer to see Harry. I think I would, but
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe you don't blame them if they don't.
Yeah, it's at this point, you're probably not going to see a Mackenzie. You're not going to see a Huswaite. You're not going to see a Sarong. You're probably sticking with the boys that have, unless there's an injury this week. Even though we might like different parts of all of those boys' games. So, anything else? I mean, that Carl Amon handball for mine, disappointing call by the umpires.
Oh,
he was going.
God.
He was pedaling backwards, and he just tried to handball the ball quickly
to Ginnivan. Yeah,
and if just prior to that, at the other end of the ground, they had done a very long handball, I believe it was, and it went out of bounds. It was a miss-hit handball. I just think the AFL need to fix this up. But
yeah, well,
costly.
Either way, I don't know. They're discussing bringing in the last touch between the arcs rule that they have in the AFLW at the moment, which I think is an interesting one. I don't know. I can't really tell if I'm for it. I think it would actually be reasonably beneficial to Hawthorn because there's less stoppages on the wing, and we're not the best at that. So I think, and we've got decent kicks most of the time. So I think it could help us. But yeah, that one, it was a really shocking call. And as soon as it was called and he kicked that goal, it sapped. We were no chance really after that. It was too long. And yeah, I don't understand how you can call that. As the comment said, it's a simple skill error. What he did was tried to get it to Ginnivan. He didn't want it out.
No, we had two people to his right.
We didn't want to run it out because the last thing we wanted was a stoppage.
Yeah.
And we wanted to. We didn't have enough time to aim for a stoppage. So I can't believe they called that. But there was plenty of other chances during the game. But it's when it happens at a time like that, you just get really gets really frustrating. There's
a few good tackles. I just thought, oh, geez, that wasn't rewarded. We had a couple of nice ones.
Impey won late on. I can't remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure it led to the Rayner goal. He maybe it was McCluggage or something. He just clean dropped the ball. I think the umpire was just on the wrong side there, but
it can happen.
Yeah.
Even though there's like 17 umpires out there. But anyway,
you don't. You can only talk so much about the umpires. If the team had played better, you don't worry about that. So
exactly, it goes two ways. Look, eyes up. I think from here we will. I think we're gonna. Hopefully, we feel that pain, and it's just like, how much do you really want it now? A couple of weeks ago, it was just, geez, we could almost not make the 8. All right, good. We did enough to get into the 8. We're choosing our own destiny here. Do we end up top 4 or not? Okay, not. Let's crack on from here. With a Weddle in, if Weddle gets 2 games under his belt, you've got to win 4 games now. Do you get the energy lift from a Weddle? It certainly does.
I think you do.
Yeah, it gives you a really different dynamic that just... If he can keep running, he wouldn't have lost too much of his fitness base. I wouldn't have thought. He'll give some opposition some grief, I'm sure. So, do we have fixturing, Lauren? Do you know for the Box Hill Hawks?
No, it comes out tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes, that
all
comes
over the VFL. Look at you.
No, that drops. That drops tomorrow, so will be interesting. As I said, if we can get Weddle a game in there, that would be beneficial. And I'm pretty sure we spoke about, I think last time we were here, whether Weddle will be eligible. And I'm like 99% sure from my research is that if the AFL team is in finals, then it doesn't matter about the games that they've played at VFL. if they're AFL listed, they can play, because the VFL assumed that they're not going to stack their team with a bunch of AFL players when they're playing finals, which is a fair case. We're not going to go out there and put Newcombe and Sicily and Deer and Watson out playing VFL just so we can win that when they could get injured and miss the final the next week. So,
well, Box Hill wants to go deep, and so you've got to play X number of games anyway to qualify for final. So it just doesn't make sense. Yeah,
exactly. So we've got probably a nervous wait tomorrow. I don't know if anyone listened to Sam Mitchell's interview on SEN. He goes there every now and then on a Friday morning, and he shouted out that Weddle refused to fly up to the game this weekend because he wants to be getting his scan first thing Monday morning, so he can find out as soon as possible whether he could potentially return for the final series. So fingers crossed, everyone tonight, say your prayers before bed that the scan for Wed goes well tomorrow. I think it's going to be, we're going to get our answer. It's going to be a no, or he can hopefully play for Box Hill on the weekend. So big fingers crossed for Weds there, because I think he can come back. I'm liking how the back line is settled now. Can he come back and play a different role? Can he play on the wing? Can he get some midfield minutes? I mean, I know he's coming off an injury, so he probably doesn't have the touch of the ball, but
But do you rest him forward then? Because he can still take a great mark if he's able to leap.
Yeah, we also need some. I know Impey's been doing well off the halfback, getting that run, which has been good, but he probably needs a bit of help down there as well. But we might see a change up again. I think Scrims had a few great moments over the last few weeks, but he was the one who kind of came in. Fortunately, he was fit when Weddle got injured, so he kind of just swapped in. I don't know if that's something they'll look at, whether they want to mess around with the back line too much, who I think, is doing a pretty good job at the moment.
Yeah, I think he was doing all right at Box Hill. You've just got to keep being ready, don't you? So, well, I think we might even do a bit of we'll look at doing a preview during the week. We'll see how this next result goes. Let us know, fans. Just sorry, it looks like we've had some problem tonight with the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Normally they're running us off our feet, even though I still got run off my feet from the Facebook ones. So thank you. And X, come on, X, give us the ability to get the chats in. It's not you. Join us on YouTube or Facebook. So Loz, not the night we wanted, but there's finals. So we will see, I think, a bit of tinkering, a bit of licking of the wounds, and we will probably see what this could look like.
Yes.
Jeez, Deb, you're a bit old school, but I love it, because I would love to see this too.
Well, we did it for Gunson last week. Who's saying we can't do it for Weds? But I wouldn't.
There you go. Not old school.
It'll be a good watch. Make sure because we've got the week off. Box Hill will be playing Southport. As I said, not 100% sure on the fixture. It's normally a Saturday around when they do it, but we'll see how we go. Let's hopefully Weddle can play and we can get him back in.
I was going to say this earlier. I forgot. I would have liked to have seen this at some point. A little bit of Dylan Moore and a little bit of Watson at times when we're not quite getting the centre clearances. I just think it's a really good thing. So,
yes, absolutely. Well, I think a well-deserved break for the boys and us as fans. No need to worry about footy for the men's this week. Obviously, the women's have started up and they've come out the blocks firing with 2 wins, one against Brisbane. So if you want to feel good about a team beating Brisbane, you can look towards the women's. But so that have a relaxing 1 or 2 weeks off, and then come back and have a very tense watch in an elimination final against most likely GWS. But we can't rule the Dons out, or can we? Maybe we can.
Yeah.
But yes. Anything else left to say, Matt, there? I think, yes.
Libby says it all. Tough night, but we will leave it there and go on, Loz. You can close us out.
Yes, so make sure to follow us on all the social medias. We've got X, Facebook, Instagram, and obviously Like and subscribe on YouTube if you're watching there. Apologies once again for not having the comments up and running tonight. Just those technical things behind the scenes sometimes don't go the right way. But yes, it was a good home and away season, but it's not over yet. And we actually had more wins than we did last year, despite probably finishing lower than what we did last year, which is an interesting one. But yes, big game. Unfortunate to not get the result, but thanks everyone for joining us tonight. And of course, go the Hawks.